old telephone, Ruben Lara.
The telephone, that little device that changed our life forever. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome, guest. Yes, the telephone. From that wooden box, 100 years old. That wooden box with a crank. You move the crank, and somebody in a different place pick the phone and say, who do you want to call? And you say, oh, I want to call Mr. Chair, whoever. They say, oh, yes, number. No, they didn't have numbers. They just connect something, and then you have your phone call. From that phone to the plastic device with a rotary dial that you use before the cell phone arrives. That telephone changed our lives forever. I'm going to show you some things that telephone made to society. I'm going to give you some examples of that old telephone previous to cell phone. Not cell phone, but the previous one that I used when I was a child. And I'm going to give you some characteristics. The first one, the telephone was in one specific place, and you had to go there if you wanted to make a phone call. If you wanted to receive a phone call, you had to go there. You didn't have the cell phone with you. You had to go there. And I'm going to tell you something. I have my grandfather. He had a convenience store, something like this area, a little smaller even. And in that convenience store, he had groceries, he had candies, and also he used to sell beer for some people. And they had the beer in that place. It was a bar, convenience store, and also my grandfather had a telephone, a public telephone in that place. And also he had a private telephone. The public telephone was used for the people around his house because all of them, no one of them had a telephone at home. They had to go there to have a phone call. And also, they had to go there if they wanted to receive a phone call. Let me explain something that happened to me one day. I was in my grandfather's house, and I was there, and suddenly the telephone rang. And I answered, good morning. And someone said, good morning, may I talk to Mr. Rodriguez? And I said, Mr. Rodriguez? Who is Mr. Rodriguez? And okay, give me a second, please. Dad, who is Mr. Rodriguez? Oh, no. Come with me. And I went, and my grandfather said, go to that house over there. You see that house? The red door? Go there and call Mr. Rodriguez. Tell them that he has a phone call. And I ran. Good morning, Mr. Rodriguez has a phone call. And, oh, okay, 1 second, please. And then I returned to my house. And Mr. Rodriguez arrived 1 minute later. Thank you. Good morning. How are you? Oh, no, I'm fine. Okay. And he was talking. That he had to come to my father's house to have a phone call. And in the other side of the convenience store, my father had the public phone pole. And some people were just waiting, and someone was making a phone call. And that lady, the same day, that lady was calling. Hello, Marie, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Oh, what? Dolores? No. Really? Oh, pregnant? Oh my God. Who? Oh, Mr. Rodriguez? Oh, Mr. Rodriguez? Oh my God. You see, people didn't have privacy. Everybody knew that Mr. Rodriguez had an affair with Dolores, and Mr. Rodriguez was married, 3 children, actually. That was the first characteristic of the old phone. You didn't have privacy. You had to go in front of the people, talk, and sometimes people waiting, and you were talking with the public cell phone, and people talking, and people, hey, what happened to this guy? hey, the telephone, we need the telephone, please. And you know, it's not good. With your cell phone, you don't have that problem. That's the first characteristic. The second one, during that time, if you wanted to make a long distance phone call, you had to call someone, the operator. I remember in my country I had to dial 011, I think. 011, you remember? I don't remember. Well, one number. And I had to call to the operator. My mother, she was an operator. And she told me something pretty funny. One day, a priest, a Catholic priest, he called the operator to call someone in a different town. And he called the operator. And one of them received the phone call, and they listened the phone calls. The operators listened the phone calls. And that priest was talking to a woman. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm missing you. Oh, honey, I'm missing you. Come to this big city. I want to see you. And my mother said, oh, the priest, you know, the priests don't marry. They don't have even girlfriends. And all the operators knew in that moment that the priest was talking to his girlfriend. You see, the second characteristic, the operator is between you. Today, probably someone is listening to your conversation, but in that time, operators had that opportunity. Another characteristic, you didn't know who was calling you. You had to just answer the phone call. Hello, who is calling? And sometimes you didn't know. And when I was a child, I had the opportunity to make so many jokes. I called the police. Hello, I have a problem at home. Can you come here, please? And the police, okay, what is the address? Whatever. And 5 minutes later, or 10 minutes later, the police arrived to my neighbor's house. Tan, tan, tan. There's a problem. And so many jokes. When you don't know who is calling, you can make so many jokes. Maybe you remember some jokes, I don't know. But in my country, people used to make so many jokes. As you can see, the telephone has changed the life forever, for everybody. Our behavior now is completely different because of the telephone. By the way, sorry, I have to take this. Thank you. Thank you very much.